is hypocrisy, Paul Beckett, at the highest level, is it not? The City of London has been shown to be an area of major criminal activity.
Yes, and tax haven activity. And sometimes you think, well, let's think of a really respectable ancient democracy, and you think of Switzerland. Switzerland is known as the grandfather of tax havens because of the way that they operate and their very lax regulations, their lip service they pay to the exchange of information. I was just thinking, whilst we were all talking, back in 1994, one of the books I write, there's a chapter on the Isle of Man, and we had 2 or 3 pages on compliance, and now it's over a third of the chapter. And you have in the Isle of Man, we've had for years anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism, bribery. We've got the new Fraud Act of 2017. Nobody put a gun to our heads to say you have to define fraud as broadly as we've defined it. The culture, and just as a little quirky thing.
FATCA, CRS, beneficial ownership.
Beneficial ownership, yes. It just goes on. I mean, there's masses of stuff. But just give you a little historical point. If I transfer money to you so that I don't have to pay my debt to Phil, that's called a fraudulent transfer. A lot of the tax havens, for example, the Bahamas, allow that. Do you know when that was banned? I'll ask you a question. When do you think that was banned in the Isle of Man?
In the 80s?
1736. And that act is still on the statute book, and we use it every day as advocates, the Fraudulent Transfers Act. That's the kind of behaviour which is smiled upon in the tax havens.
You say smiled?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't got time to go into detail, but there's something in the Bahamas called the Bahamas Enterprise Entity. And if you have one of those, that's a company without shareholders, which is another whole level of weirdness. But if you put your money into a Bahamas Enterprise Entity and you've put it there, if I've put it there to stop my paying Phil or the minister, that's okay. No action can lie. Here, the very transfer is void. And it has been. The people of the members of Tynwald in 1736 laid that down. And it's not a historical, something out of the Manx Museum. That's on the books. We still use it. We still advise on that. It's one of the key blocks in the finance sector. How much more sophisticated does a country have to be for how many centuries before they acknowledge that we are not a tax haven?